If you've ever dated someone that you've wondered, oh my gosh, they are so emotionally dumb or emotionally not available, this episode is for you. And I'm coming here not just on my own for this one. Who's here? Teddy, say hi.
Hello.
So Will's here, and I'm so excited to have you here, babe, because I have seen this over and over with so many of my clients, so many women in this community. Oh my gosh, the guy that I'm dating, he's just like, doesn't know how to communicate. He's not emotionally intelligent. And they think there are no emotionally intelligent men. So
Pretty much true.
Is it true? No, I want to hear about this. So babe, what's your take on that comment about men not being emotionally intelligent?
False.
False. Okay. So
I think you're going to find the whole spectrum. I think you're going to find people that are emotionally intelligent, people that aren't emotionally intelligent.
Okay. So what do you consider, from your perspective, someone who's emotionally intelligent?
Someone who has empathy.
So good. Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah. That's a good one. Empathy, guys. And if you don't know what that is, wait a second. Step one. And I do know that there's a lot of guys listening to this too. So please, from your perspective, tell people, where do you learn to be empathetic and be emotionally intelligent?
I think from your upbringing is a huge factor in that. I had good parents, and they taught me, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, and think about other people before you act or react.
Yeah, put yourself in people's shoes, because I do feel like there are a lot of people, not just men. I just feel like there's a lack of empathy with a lot of people.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to put yourself in people's shoes and wonder, it's not just about you. So I do love that. That's one of the things that came up for you. Teddy, what else is really important when you talk about, oh my gosh, being emotionally intelligent?
I feel like I'm being quizzed here.
Yes. Babe, well, I know something from...
Okay, your turn. I said one thing.
I think being able to communicate effectively is
That's
so...
pretty good. Not as good as empathy, but we'll take it. Yes.
Oh my God. I do think that, there's something going on with a lot of the people that are dating. It's like, wait a second, they don't communicate. They don't know how to communicate. It's like you're pulling teeth. You're like, oh my gosh, just talk to me. How do you feel?
A lot of people are scared to rock the boat.
I'm scared to rock the boat. I play the game.
Oh, I shouldn't bring up my kids because that'll scare them off. And it's like,
right.
Well, do you want to scare them off now? Or do you want to scare them off in 3 months when they find out you have kids or something like that?
Right. So being fearless and being able to be confident in who you are, what you really want, and actually being able to communicate that effectively.
Yeah.
I think that something that I love about you, Teddy, from the beginning, and I noticed from date one, this is something that I always say to women. It's like, oh, maybe eventually they'll get emotionally intelligent. It's like, no. Oh my gosh, you don't understand. They're like,
which you can.
Yes, you can.
Right. IQ, you usually can't increase your IQ is your IQ, but your EQ you can.
100%, you're right. But only if you want to.
Yes.
Only if you want to. It's not like I see some of my clients are like, oh my gosh, I wish he was more emotionally intelligent. Let me give him tools and let me give him books and let me
never
give
works.
him... Yeah, it never works. Right? No, speak to that, please. I know that they need to hear it.
No, you don't want to go into a fixer-upper.
Yes, exactly. If they're not where you want them to be, and they're just not going to be. I feel like it's not the whole, oh, let me invest my time and energy and get them to where I want them to be, or I see potential. Oh my gosh, I hear that all the time. Well, I used to do that. Did you ever do that when you were dating before?
No.
Do you actually remember? Do you?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I thought that people I had dated, I thought they would change. Not that I knew something was wrong or whatever from the beginning, but right. You're with someone for a while and then you're like, maybe they'll eventually get on board with this idea or plan or something.
Right.
That's, yeah.
Yeah. So you wanted them to change, but they never did.
Right.
Okay. I want to know, it's funny because when I was talking about emotional intelligence and I said to you, well, babe, do you know emotional intelligence, what I mean by that? Because I see you as emotionally intelligent, obviously, but What did you say to me? That was so funny, your reaction. You're like, I read the book.
Oh, yeah. I did. I heard the book.
You heard it on Audible. You're so cute. So what I was saying to you before, I always, digress. On our first date, I was able to talk to you with intention and really talk to you about openly and vulnerably about a lot of things that were important to me. And I'm very big on that. Like from the first date, you can tell. And you were able to communicate so openly and vulnerably. You were really emotionally available.
Yeah.
Not only were
and I think that also takes some maturity. Yeah, that's true. So you feel like if I had met you, a few years ago, you would not have been able to communicate like that? Probably, I think having gone through, some good and bad relationships and, just being older and wiser, I think it helps.
Well, you were 27 when I met you, right?
An old man, yeah.
Baby, you don't understand. A lot of the women I talk to, they're like dating like 40-year-old people, 30-year-olds that have no clue. Like they're not able to communicate and they're playing the game and no one's sharing anything. So like I don't think it has to do with age. I don't know. I do feel like it's what you said is maturity. It's about experience.
Not just age, it's experiences. Let's say you're just out, looking for a good time and that's your whole MO and you go out and you have a good time.
Okay, wait, side note. Did you ever go out looking for just a good time? I'm so curious.
No. I mean, I didn't, no.
You can be honest.
I mean, I've gone out not wanting to find like, a wife, if you mean like.
But when you're like,
I've never gone out like, I'm going to hook up tonight. You know what I mean? Like, I'm taking somebody home tonight. Like, I've never done that.
Why haven't you ever done that? I'm like curious.
I don't know. I've been in long-term relationships. So it's like, long-term relationship, get out. You have like a little break period and then you have been back into a long-term relationship. So I'm like what do they call that?
A serial. Yeah. But do you feel like that's part of being emotionally mature where you didn't go out looking for just a hookup or a one-night stand?
I think so. I never thought about it.
I know, but I love this conversation, babe, because, I feel like sometimes, I take it for granted sometimes of like, oh my gosh, because my life with you has been so easy and it's been like, but I feel like this is such gold for women to hear this, and actually guys too, where if a guy's listening to this right now and they're like, oh shit, I always go out with the intention of let me just hook up, take a step back. And if you're looking for real, deep down, a long-lasting relationship, like something has to give. Like you have to do some work on your own. Like, Yeah. So you felt like you're mature. Well, you were 100% from the get-go. You're open and vulnerable, and you've gone through your experiences, and you shared it. So, like, you're so available. And I do think that, like, people get out of relationships. This is something that I wanted to ask you about. A lot of the women tell me, oh my God, they just got out of a relationship or a divorce. They just got divorced or some shit like that. And then they're like, they'll say a little comment like, yeah, I'm just trying to figure it out. Or like, we're back and forth a little, but I think we're finally done. Like, to me, those are huge red flags. When
they're still with their partner?
Like their feelings are still with their ex. And I think so. I feel like today's conversation is really about emotional intelligence, but also like that maturity and emotional availability.
Yeah.
When you and I were on our first date and you said you had just broken up with someone, what was it, like a month before?
Something like that, yeah. And
I was like, I was like, wait a second, you're not really probably available, right? Like, I'm like, are you like over that? Or are you still like in it? How do you feel? I mean, I remember how clear you were. Do you remember what you said?
Exactly what I said, but I want you to tell me.
You don't remember anything. You don't remember, do you?
I said that.
Well, do you remember how you felt about the breakup? How about that?
Yeah. I mean, it was mutual.
Yes, it was mutual.
So that, I think, on one hand, that makes it easier to get back on the wagon and the saddle, something like that.
Yeah. Back on the saddle. I remember you being really adamant about like, oh no, like we're done. Like, oh no,
right.
It was mutual.
Yeah, there was no like lingering
hope
or something like that. Yeah, the cord was cut.
Yeah, I love that. And I feel like you always learn from your past experiences. Like you had that long-term 6-year relationship and you were really like so clear about the lessons that you learned from that.
Yes.
Like these are all signs of someone that is just emotionally intelligent, emotionally mature, and available. Like ladies, being able to communicate, being able to acknowledge, oh, like that's another huge thing. If someone is trashing their ex, like, oh my gosh, they're crazy and they're a bitch or all these things, to me that sounds like completely immature, emotionally immature. What do you think?
It does. I mean, you're not taking any responsibility. You're throwing it all on the other person.
That is something that's so important about someone. Teddy, you're like, I'm passing the test. No, babe, I'm serious. I love that you were so much like that. And by the way, you're still like that. Like throughout our relationship, you always take responsibility. Like I feel like even when you sometimes hesitate, like because you're stubborn a little bit, you're kind of like, okay, I'm sorry. Like
you're living with a Taurus, baby.
Yeah, we're both Tauruses. I know.
Tauri.
But you always own it, you know? Yeah. And I think that's huge. Not someone that's like stubborn or trying to gaslight you or someone that's like not able to own up to like what they've done, you know? I honestly feel like that has to be a deal breaker for anyone listening. Is like if you're the person you're talking to is not emotionally intelligent, it's bye time. You want to do it like that?
Bye time. See, that was pretty good.
Baby, that was so good. Teddy, is there anything else you would like to say that might really help and benefit people that are listening and wanting to find their partner?
That are trying to find their partner.
And emotional, and they keep encountering people that are not emotionally intelligent or they're not emotionally available.
Well, it's like move past it. Like there's 8 billion people in the world. Like why do you have to settle for someone who's not emotionally intelligent or at least at your level or ready to be vulnerable?
Wait a second, this is such a good point too, because I bet you a lot of times you take a step back and look, maybe someone that you have grown up with is not that emotionally intelligent, or maybe that's what you're used to seeing, and it feels familiar to you. And so a lot of it is like if you're scared, there's no one else out there. Because I love what you said. It's like move on to the next. Like there's so many people in the world, right? So it's like that one aspect of like just keep it moving, say bye. Or number two, like maybe it is so familiar, it does feel like home for you to be surrounded with be with someone that you're like always trying to pull something out of them, always waiting for them to show up for you. Always, maybe that's something that you were used to as a kid.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of self-awareness for that. Right, Teddy?
100%.
Are you following me? You're like, we're done. Baby, you're supposed to show how emotionally intelligent you are. What is this?
I'm faking it. I'm sorry.
Babe. No, okay. Thank you for being here, Teddy. I appreciate 100%. You. You know how much I love you. No, I'm so proud of you, who you are as a person. I know it's hot in here because I turn off the freaking fan. I'm sorry, Teddy. I love you. I appreciate you.
I'm not tearing up. I have sweat in my eyes.
Oh wait, one last thing. The one last thing I have to say to this: you barely ever cry. That's interesting.
Yes, it's the lack of soul.
Put the fan on, baby. I want you to be comfortable. Put the fan on. It's okay. So tell me, yeah. So you're saying no, not lack of soul.
No, I'm just kidding.
When we watched The Notebook. You didn't cry, and I was like, wait a second, what is happening? You have no soul. Like I remember that. And I was concerned. I was actually legitimately concerned. I was like, what? And you were like, it's just a movie. I was like, God, but will he not care about me like when I'm 80 years old and I have like Alzheimer's or something and I can't remember, and will you care? Like I remember being worried about that. But what are your thoughts on like a guy who doesn't cry? Like you.
I've cried.
No, you have. You've cried about things that really, really matter, like for sure, like in real life, not movie stuff.
Exactly. I don't cry.
Oh, Teddy, do you want to talk about that?
You're gonna save that for the next episode. Crying.
The crying game.
The crying game.
Oh my God. I love you, Teddy. I know, you're just so cute. Okay, I'm going to stop this.
We're going off track.
We're going off track. I know, it's just like, these are the things that I adore. Honestly, it's like emotional intelligence. It's sexy. It's sexy. These are the things that are deep, and actually that emotional connection is so necessary to have that crazy love.
Yes.
So, yes.
It's crazy love or nothing.
That's right. Thank you, Teddy, for being here. Thanks, you guys. And listen, while you're putting yourself out there, you're emotionally connecting with people. Okay? Make sure you don't settle for anything less than crazy love. Because it has to be, that's right. Crazy love or nothing.
Bye.
Bye.